大家好，我係 Chris，咁我嚟自香港，咁依家喺義守大學讀緊應用英文系嘅3年班。
Hai, nama aku Rosevin Wilyani, aku dari Pekanbaru, Indonesia, dan sekarang aku tahun ketiga di I-Shou University jurusan Hospitality Management.
Всем привет, меня зовут Сева, я из России, из города Нижний Новгород, учусь на факультете международного туризма и гостеприимства.
Maayong hapon, ako si Jolo at nanggaling ako sa Pilipinas at nag-aaral ako dito sa I-Shou University. Ang departamento ko ay International Finance at saka yung year ko, third year.
Намайг Enkhjin гэдэг. Би 21 настай. Тэгээд байгаль орчны инженерээр сурдаг байгаа.
Xin chào mọi người, mình tên là Cẩm Đan. Mình đến từ Việt Nam. Hiện tại thì mình là sinh viên năm 3 tại khoa Quản trị Du lịch và Khách sạn Quốc tế tại trường I-Shou.
Sawadee, I'm Sam from Thailand. Currently, I'm a student from International Program on Communication Production.
Halo, nama saya Kalvin Putra dari Indonesia. Saya dari jurusan International Business.
Assalamualaikum. Mening ismim Azam. Men bu yerde robototexnikani o'rganaman.
皆さんこんにちは。Sokei Hayato と申します。公共政策管理学科4年生です。
The food, the Hong Kong food. I've been to Taiwan for 3 years because I seldom try the Hong Kong food in Taiwan. So I miss the food. So I will choose the food to represent Hong Kong.
For me, it will be batik because batik is our traditional pattern that you can apply to your clothes or your jeans. Sometimes if I saw other people using that in other event in the Taiwan, especially in the school or even church, I will know that they are Indonesian. I will say hi to them.
I guess I would go for balalaika. That's a national musical instrument. Has a very unique and distinctive sound. When you hear it, you know it's the sound of Russia.
For me, I use an expression, and that expression is smile.
It will be the musical instrument called neighbourhood. It's specially designed with wooden horse head, and it has only 2 strings and it makes a beautiful melody. I want to represent it by neighbourhood because our country's culture is really amazing, like the sound of the instruments.
I will choose the coffee filter, or in Vietnamese it's called phin. We usually use that kind of item to extract coffee, and we make a special drink from that name phin coffee. We can see it everywhere in every cafes in Vietnam, and because it became a part of our culture.
If I could choose, I'll choose the Y culture. I don't know in English word, but like this culture is to show the respective to each other. I like this so much because like, I don't really see from others, like they do shake hands, but then in Thailand we do this to anyone we respect, to everyone.
I think I would choose rendang. Rendang is in our Indonesia's traditional food and it's like really delicious. I think everyone should try it.
I would like to introduce our Uzbek weddings because they are very famous for having like more than 100 traditions and costumes, and they will be lasting for more than a week.
我觉得日本代表的一个东西是日本刀，因为我跟台湾人的朋友还有外国人的朋友聊天的时候，就话题上出来一个 samurai 的武士的事情。对，大部分我的朋友都是喜欢那个日本刀的。
For me, it will be last year because as we know, last year is our very first time Miss and Mr. I-Shou University, and also when we gather behind the teaching building, that's a very impressive moment for me because we dance together, we holding hands together, we share our culture together. So that's very memorable for me.
The most impressive moment for me in the cultural festival is when I joined the Mr. and Mrs. I-Shou. It's like because I really don't know what's like is it inside. So like, yeah, it's quite impressive for me for joining something I didn't know.
The booth last year.
Gather around their cultural booth.
You can see booths from Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Caribbeans, and they're all different, they're all unique, and you get to see what each country has to offer.
That impressed me because like I saw so many countries that gather together to make their own food so that I could see different culture from different countries. I think that is a really beautiful view in this university.
Each booth is like well designed, well presented, and represent their own country's culture and speciality. And I can see that everyone was really happy. They enjoyed the music, enjoyed the food, and they made friends with each other just by sharing about their own stories.
我们日本人就一起做一个炒面，日本炒面的。对，就是我1年级、2年级都没有参加，但是就3年级这第一次就参加了。对，我很感动的事情是，因为大家一起合作，就做菜、买东西，还有准备一个厨房那个。
The parade, because like it was the first time that we had so many Thai students here, and we all gathered everyone to do the parade together. And you know, we can really show out our cultures, our Thai costume, and show the Thai dance.
Previous year, I was the deputy of Mongolian students, so I was able to hand the flags of our country. So it was really fascinating to stand with all the other countries' ISRs and have some fun experiments with them.
I couldn't get back home.
I couldn't come back home to Russia.
I couldn't return home yet.
I couldn't go back to my country at the beginning, but then I went there and I had to stay in quarantine for more than 20 days. So yeah, it was very bad.
When I first came to Taiwan for half year, the pandemic starts, so that I couldn't get back home for till now for 2 years. So I think that is the most important thing that affects me.
Because of all the restrictions, even here in Taiwan, there are many, like, there was a lockdown, we had to study online, clubs, bars, anything, most of the things were closed, so it was kind of uncomfortable.
For me, it's effect for the social life and my work life. Usually I only stay with my roommate and we cook together, we talk together. And for my work life, I doesn't really work because I work in the hotel near here and that's closed because the pandemic.
就取消打工度假。对，因为我去年的9月，我打算去澳洲做打工度假。
It affects me in both negative and positive ways. And the biggest impact it does, I cannot come back to my home country and I feel homesick more than ever before. But I can still feel safe, feel happy because I think in Taiwan the pandemic issue is not that serious, and even in the lockdown time I can still use my time to like learn something new from the internet or spend more time learning new skills and like cooking, reading, and spend time with my friends.
Well, you know, there's the upcoming pageant competition, the Mr. and Miss I-Shou International. Last year was the first year, and then we basically had no idea what we do, and it was like, because it was the first time, and then I'm not that good at performing and not good at those stuff, but then I decided to join, and things just went so well, and that was really the competition that made me breaking my own wall. I go to Taoyuan for working, even though I never been there before. Then I think it's a very brave for me to learn new things, work in other places that I didn't know. Then I got many new friends from other country and many experience.
For me, breakthrough means like going out in your comfort zone, like going through, breakthrough. So for me as a student, like the biggest challenge in my life here is going to Taiwan alone. Like it's a breaking experience for me. Like I learn new experience through work, through school, and through the environment.
I came in Taiwan by myself. I think that was the bravest thing to do, away from my home, away from my families and friends. And I didn't even know how to speak in Chinese, but I chose to study in Chinese department. I think that was the bravest thing that I've done.
I started to work because like in the pandemic, like it's kind of hard for my parents also to find money because like everything is closed and like you cannot go anywhere. So like I never worked before or do anything. So and I'm quite a lazy person, and like this time I tried to like become a more diligent person and by working and helping my parents.
就是为了保护大家，我没有出门，我一直 都在家里就是做看漫画，就还有看动画那种。因为我之前就没兴趣的，觉得做一个新兴趣，对我觉得那个是对自己就很好的事情。